flow in one direction and not in other direction easily. So here food is entering out but not permitted to go out under normal circumstances. In case of reverse peristalsis this is possible, but under normal circumstances it is not possible. Esophagus is having average length of 25 centimeters. And in case of peristalsis, we have longitudinal and circular motion of the muscles. This rhythmic motion, that longitudinal is this way, whereas circular this way. So this motion we are calling as peristalsis. Now, after passing out, it enters in stomach. As we have discussed, this is guarded by wall. This is called as sphincter. Now, here it enters in stomach. This is having J shape. So here I am showing detailed diagram. So this looks like J shape. So this is called as J shape stomach. Now this stomach is divided into further three parts. The first part or upper part, this is called as cardiac, which is in vicinity of heart. The second part, that is called as fundus, F-U-N-D-U-S, and third part, that is called as pyloric stomach. Now the sphincter present here is called as cardiac sphincter, whereas sphincter present over here, this is called as pyloric sphincter. What is the role of stomach? Whatever we are consuming, that food that enters in stomach, here it is mixed with different enzymes secreted by present in gastric juice. The inside wall of the stomach is having gastric glands, and gastric glands, they are secreting out a juice that is called as gastric juice. The first part of that gastric juice, that is the mucus secretion. Now, what is the role of this mucus secretion? The mucus is lining over the inside wall. That will prevent attack of other gastric juice on wall of stomach. The other gastric juice that contains hydrochloric acid. Try to recollect formula, it's HCl. It's strong acid. The basic function is to destroy insects or any other living organism they are entering purposefully or by mistake. And then second thing, that it makes food acidic in nature. The first action is carried out here, that is to convert the food in acidic in nature. Saliva is basic in nature, whereas here that food is converted into acidic. But don't consume HCl externally. As it is present in stomach, I can drink out HCl. No, because mouth part is in basic medium. Esophagus requires basic medium, and therefore don't try to consume HCl externally. It is not, we can say, recommended thing. Now HCl is present in stomach, but it is mucus lined, and therefore the attack is not there. We are discussing out now here digestion process slightly separately. So first I am explaining the parts here. Now this is anterior end of stomach guarded by cardiac sphincter. This is posterior end of stomach guarded by pyloric sphincter. Now this stomach stores food temporarily and churns out. Sanskrit churna. So simply it is mixing out properly, making fine particles that break down into still smaller particle. Try to recollect our chemistry. We discussed that as particle size is smaller, the reactivity is greater. The rate of reactivity that depends on particle size. So if you are treating out 1 kg of calcium carbonate in form of stone and in form of powder with same concentration and quantity of HCl, the rate of reaction is much more greater in case of powder at same temperature rather than entire bulk, that means exact stone of limestone or say stone of calcium carbonate which is weighing 1 kg. Same way here we are making food particles finely divided, don't say finally divided. So it is finely divided into particles, fine particles are there, and then different enzymes are mixed properly. Then from pyloric part, the stomach, that food through this sphincter enters in intestine. This is called as rather small intestine. So this food enters in small intestine. Now small intestine is smaller in diameter, not in length. It should be actually properly called as long intestine, but we are calling it small intestine. So this is small intestine which is having 3 parts. The first part, initial part, we are calling as duodenum. I am revising name. It is called as duodenum, which is around 25 centimeters. Size of stomach is also in range of 25 to 35 centimeters. Same way duodenum size is also 25 centimeters. The first part of this small intestine we are calling as duodenum, which is 25 centimeter. Then second part, that is jejunum, Jejunum. This is 22.5 meter. So next part here, whatever we are observing, this is small intestine. It is simply coiled and placed in stomach part. So whatever the observe here, because net length of this intestine is around 6 meters. In case of human being, we are classified under omnivorous category. For herbivorous animals, herbivorous means, try to recollect, veg food. Those who are consuming only veg food, they are called as herbivorous animal. They are, most of them are able to digest out cellulose. Cellulose is cell wall which is present outside this plasma membrane. So it is present in plant cell and not present in animal cell. And that's why if herbivorous animal is there, the intestine is longer. Carnivorous animal is there, then intestine is shorter. Why? Because as flesh eating, that means there is no question of cellulose digestion, and that's why the animal is having smaller intestine, length of intestine. Whereas in case of omnivorous, it is in between. So it is not as long as herbivorous and not as short as carnivorous animal. Still we are calling this is as 6 meter. So this way, this is coiled in the stomach part. The second 2.5 meter average, that part we are calling as jejunum. Now this is narrower than duodenum. So I can show this way. This is duodenum. The next portion is somewhat narrower than duodenum. So jejunum is narrower than duodenum but having length greater than duodenum. Duodenum is having length around 25 centimeters, whereas jejunum is having length around 2.5 meters. Now third part, that is ileum, I-L-E-U-M. This is about 3.5 meters long and little bit broader than jejunum. So which is the smallest diameter part of intestine? Answer is jejunum. Now longest part, that is ileum, 3.5 meters. And shortest part, that is duodenum, that is 25 centimeters, that is 0.25 meter. So smallest part of that intestine is duodenum. Now, in between this gap, there is another gland which is associated with digestion and glucose consumption. This gland, that is called as pancreas. So this is shown over here. So in this gap, we can find out the pancreas. Now pancreas are having two parts. One is called as exocrine part and another is called as endocrine part. Now what is exocrine part and what is endocrine part? It is basically around the type of enzyme or type of secretion they have. You are aware about enzyme and hormone. Enzymes are secreted by gland in the duct. Duct is tube, and with help of tube that is sent to the proper part where it is required. Like in this diagram, you can show that salivary glands are there. So salivary glands, and they are releasing out saliva in the mouth portion. Same way, whatever the glands are produced, say pancreas, it is producing out pancreatic juice, and with help of duct, it is entering in duodenum. So enzyme is a chemical here. At our level, we can consider this way that enzyme is chemical, or say the triggering out chemical which is produced by particular gland, and it is carried through duct and entered in required location. Then that is called as an enzyme. Whereas hormone is produced by gland only. It is also having similar chemical action like that of hormone, enzyme. But the thing is that enzymes are secreted and sent to particular location through duct, whereas hormones are produced and secreted immediately in the bloodstream, and then through blood they are transmitted to different parts of body where required. I mean, simply here in modern language one can say that enzyme should be considered as landline telephone, which is essentially used by wire, whereas we can compare our mobile phone with hormone. Simply waves are spread out in all directions, and then it is action is taken where required thing is there. Now same thing is here in case of hormones. Whenever we are calling that particular gland is secreting out hormone, then keep in mind that hormone is secreted by endocrine gland. We are calling that part as endocrine gland. And if enzyme is secreted, we are calling that as exocrine gland. So pancreas is having two parts. One is called as endocrine and another one is called as exocrine part. Now exocrine part is secreting out different hormones, different enzymes. Simply I am calling that as here pancreatic juice. Another largest gland in human body which is associated with digestive process, that is liver. If you are studying out English, particularly the figures of speech, then you are aware about pun. Is life worth living? And answer is given, it depends upon liver. Here we are making pun on liver. But one meaning is that the one who is living, and second, it depends upon liver. Literally, English name of liver is useful. Many functions are carried out by liver. You are aware that we are consuming out different toxins, toxic substances we are consuming out. That is detoxifying. That means we are removing out the toxic nature of that substance, This is called as detoxification. So this detoxification is carried out by liver. When person consumes any alcoholic beverage that is containing ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is very good. It is not at all harmful. But when we are consuming out, that means inside the body, in the bloodstream it is absorbed, immediately it is converted to acetaldehyde. So alcohol is converted into aldehyde in body. And acetaldehyde is not good for health. Acetaldehyde is poisonous when it is present in bloodstream. And it is showing some unwanted actions. Now liver plays important role in detoxification of this aldehyde. Now it's alright that person consumes ethyl alcohol, but many times certain drawbacks, certain problems are there, that in poor nation and for particularly poor people, they are producing some unwanted thing, that is actually alcoholic beverage is produced in some raw manner. And at that time certain chemical reactions may go wrong, and instead of ethyl alcohol, methyl alcohol is produced in that. Then this methyl alcohol, is it poisonous? Answer is no. Methyl alcohol is also not poisonous. But when person consumes methyl alcohol in the body, it is converted into formaldehyde, which is very, very highly poisonous. That will lead to death of the person directly. And that's why one should, what is the best advice? One should not consume liquor. We have to stay away from this product. But suppose if this problem is there, that you notice that certain people, they are drinking out this type of, say, deshi or poisonous liquor, then till arrival of doctor, you can do only one thing, that give them rum or whiskey, branded. The reason is that as long as ethyl alcohol is present in body, the enzyme will act only on ethyl alcohol and not on methyl alcohol. So as long as there is concentration of ethyl alcohol in blood, it will remain, the enzyme will act only on ethyl alcohol and acetaldehyde is produced. No doubt acetaldehyde is poisonous and formaldehyde is poisonous. But formaldehyde is more poisonous than acetaldehyde. So till arrival of doctor, you can give the infected person or the suffered person pure alcohol that can be available, the consumable alcohol. Now here we have to say consumable alcohol that is present in rum, whiskey, like that, double distilled, or say the proper branded, because there it is quality checked. And so chances of methyl alcohol present is very, very, here we can consider less, and therefore we have to give that, and then we have to leave it on doctor. But till doctor's arrival you can do this. So detoxification is then further carried out by the liver. Another duty of liver, that is deamination. Now certain amino acids are problematic. If amino acids are in greater extent and not used by body, then also they are problematic. So by process of deamination, these acids, amino acids, are converted into ammonia. Now ammonia is also not helpful for our body in the blood. So liver converts out ammonia into urea, a less harmful product. The process is called as ornithine cycle. With help of ornithine cycle, this ammonia is further converted into urea, and then it is excreted out through kidneys, via kidneys, urinary bladder and out. So this way waste products are thrown away out of body. You are aware RBCs are produced. red blood corpuscles. In early childhood phase, liver is responsible for production of RBCs. Later on, they are producing bone marrow, the inside portion of bone. But in initial stages, RBCs are produced by liver. As well as RBCs are destroyed. A particular part is there that is called as Kupffer cells in the liver. They digest out old RBCs. These RBCs are destroyed. Then the material is formed by all these actions. We are calling that as bile juice, which is having yellow color. Deep yellow color is present. In Sanskrit, we are calling it as pitta ras. Pitta means yellow. So we are calling this as pitta ras or bile juice, which is temporarily stored in a part that is called as gallbladder. So liver is producing out pitta ras or bile juice from all of these sources, and ultimately this is stored temporarily in gallbladder. No, say, just I misspelled God, but whenever we are discussing out biology, we have to admire the nice designer, engineer of human body. May we call him as God. So, multi-purpose use. Say for example, now RBCs are destroyed. The waste material you have to throw outside the body, but it is not immediately thrown outside the body. It is used for another purpose. Say bile juice is basic, means alkaline in nature. So bile juice is produced in gallbladder, that is temporarily in liver, that is temporarily stored in gallbladder, and on requirement from gallbladder through pancreas, one duct is coming out. This will flow through that duct, that is called as duodeno-pancreatic duct, and through this duodeno-pancreatic duct it will enter in duodenum. The food present in stomach is acidic. The moment it enters in duodenum, because of presence of bile juice, it is first neutralized and then made basic in nature. If this bile juice, instead of entering in duodenum, enters wrongly in bloodstream, then we are calling this condition as jaundice, because this is having yellow color and it is obviously spread in the blood, and that's why eyes, nails, all these portions start appearing yellow. Whereas because of this yellow color of bile juice, our fecal matter, feces, that is having yellow color. So what is the sign of jaundice? That feces is not having yellow color, but urine, liver, eyes, nails are having yellow color. So this is particular jaundice situation. Now we can discuss lots of things about liver. One thing we have to discuss and we have to stop about the liver, that it is temporarily storing out. Why temporarily? Because on requirement it is immediately converted. So we are using word here temporarily, but maybe possible it is for longer time also. Storing out glucose, that is in form of polysaccharide, that is called as glycogen. Pancreas, that is having endocrine part. That endocrine part is called as islets of Langerhans. These islets of Langerhans, they are secreting out two hormones, namely insulin. You are aware of that insulin word, and second, that is glucagon. Keep in mind glucagon. Both of these hormones are initiating process that glucose is converted into glycogen, and it is stored temporarily in the liver. So with help of this insulin and glucagon, glucose in the blood is stored in stomach, in liver, in form of glycogen. Whenever requirement is there, especially during starvation, that means fasting, if you are not able to get food for a longer time, then glycogen is converted into glucose and partly, and then glucose is secreted in bloodstream and level of glucose is maintained to somehow. When animal is feared or angry, at that time one gland is there on kidney. This is called as adrenal gland, and so this adrenal gland secretes out hormone that is called as adrenaline. This adrenaline helps to convert glycogen to glucose. That means more and more glucose is available in the